Alright, so today we're doing another indie hidden gem hunting for July of 2023. Trying to take chances on small indie games with low budgets. But that being said, I should also say that do be careful, some games are scams. So be open but not too open. Before we get into this, I'd like to mention my small indie game on Steam, the Silicon Shadow. Use your guide boots to slide and shoot around through murderous robots, navigate platforming challenges, and explore the dark atmosphere of an early 1900s retro-futuristic sci-fi space station. Uncover the truth of its downfall in this fun movement shooter. Okay, so let's start off with Beast Blasters. Sort of like Richmond last time, this is a jokey game, not taking it too serious, but I still think it, even though you have a jokey game, you can try more to have a, well-crafted game anyway. The humor is okay, I guess. The guy ragdolling in the back of the off-road golf cart thing is kind of funny. The golf cart is probably one of the worst vehicles I ever drove in a video game, by the way. This is a sort of cable channel monster hunting show type parody game. First time I played this game, I played it for like a good while and didn't even see the monster. Next time I found it pretty quick, but anyway, there's just really, it's either you're just going for the woods and not seeing anything, or there's some character switching mechanics, or certain characters can do certain things, but it really just didn't seem like it adds that much. Next we have Dark Past, Darker Future. It's a arena shooter that's like a sort of mythological thing, but with guns. The shooting's decent. There's a good variety of weapons and upgrades. There's also magics, but the thing with magics is that they sort of just feel like another gun. It's also good upgrade systems. Platforming's decent, but at a base level, but it's extremely repetitive and just jumping between platforms. None of them they're all static. The level design isn't great. I've only played the first two levels fully. I played a bit of the third level. It seemed like maybe the level design was getting better, but everything in 1 and 2 was just like 90% just one room with a flat surface, and it's just really repetitive, and there's not enough enemy variety or mechanics to back it up. I think even if the next levels do have a better level design, I'm not sure if how long it can last even, unless there's level mechanics for bosses or something. Overall, the core gameplay's not bad per se, but level design could use some work, and especially if it's consistent for the entire game like that, or actually even shouldn't be that long before we get decent levels. Anyway. Next we have Quantum Rail. This has a bit more reviews than I usually try to cover. I usually try to cover games with only less than 5 reviews. But I really wanted to play this game, and it's free. Because I really like the theming. It's very good theming. It's a sci-fi western. It revolves around a train. And that's sort of like a game I wanted to make. Except that the train's a lot more involved than in this one. The train's really just a place to take you from place to place. There's no combat on the train or anything. So I really like the theming, but the gameplay is not great. About as rough a performance as you can get, while still technically being playable. And that's just on my PC, which is decent. The combat is relatively bland. It's just use your gun or your rocket, which auto-target rocket, which recharges every once in a while. The enemies aren't great. There's one exploding enemy that's really small and hard to see, and then just sneaks up on you and takes 3/4 of your health. There's this land-based shooty guy who teleports around and does some high damage to you. It's really annoying. There's these like flying enemies with that shoot you, but they take so long to shoot you that you hardly notice, and you can snipe them well before they see you. But there's definitely potential in the idea of this game. This was a decently short game. It took me 80 minutes, but I think it would have taken me only like 60 if not for this not great platforming section at the end. But it is actually one of the games I've completed for this series. Definitely could improve this one. Next we have a game called The Old House. It's a decent point-and-click horror game with a monochromatic big pixel art. It's pretty short and I only found 2 endings. There could be more, but I can't exactly look up a guide for a small indie game. Overall, it's decently made. There's good, but not much to say about it. Lastly, we have the Ratcatcher. This game really close to being a pretty good, decent, fun small game. It's got a nice Bloodborne, but going for a more grimier PS1 type atmosphere. Big problem is that there's either not enough supplies, even after learning about the barrels or boxes that supposed to have supplies, but most of them don't, or there's not enough, or the monsters aren't easy enough to avoid in the tight hallways. So either way, it's just a little too hard to be very fun. I get the developer probably didn't want the game to be too easy, considering how short it is, but I'd rather have a quicker, funner time than a frustrating, longer time. Also, I'm not sure, but the bullets seem to be random chance-based, like an RPG, and they're not actual bullets. If that's true, that should be better communicated. I also personally don't like that, but it could work if it were better communicated. Yeah, so that's it for this month. A little better than last month, I think. Found some decent games. Found some games that could use some refinement. That's about it for that. Thank you to anyone who likes, comments, or subscribes. That's it.